Hi everybody, this is March 26, 2025, and this video is part of my video journal and my recovery from the trauma of watching my little brother Paul Kierans, 64, with Down syndrome, be locked up by the British Columbia New Democratic Party government for 588 days. And then I believe they killed him with medical assistance and dying. So after Paul died, the nun that the government appointed as his guardian, who lives 4,000 kilometers away in Ontario and who gave his entire inheritance to the group home where he was residing, so to the government, she gave away all of his money secretly, and the government secretly appointed her his guardian with a fraudulent and forged power of attorney. But after he died on April 23rd, he died alone among strangers who didn't understand his speech. It took the nun 2 days to get to British Columbia after he had a stroke. They said he had a stroke, but he had a wound on the side of his head. I don't know what happened. They wouldn't tell me anything. It's the worst miscarriage of justice. I mean, to sum it up, it's the worst miscarriage of justice in British Columbia history and perhaps Canadian history. But after he died, the nun brought on an application to have me declared a vexatious litigant because I had been trying for 2 years to restore Paul's his rights, including his right to visit with me. She had terminated his visits when I complained to the RCMP about the fraudulent and forged power of attorney that she was relying on. So not only did she take away all of his basic human rights, including his right to visit with me, his last surviving family member and visitor, after he died, she applied to the court to take away all of my rights. And the judge hearing the application, Judith Hoffman, proceeded, even though I said, I had a heart attack in 2016, and I've got a medical certificate from my family doctor and a letter from my cardiologist saying that I should keep stressful events to a minimum, and I cannot appear in court for longer than 2 hours per day. And the second day, this judge went on past 2 hours, and I stood up and I said, I'm not allowed to be here for longer than 2 hours by doctor's orders. And she said, can't you sit? Judith Hoffman said, can't you sit in the gallery? So it was like she was daring me to have a heart attack right in front of her. I had gone through all of the materials saying I can't appear in court for longer than 2 hours per day. But she wanted to fix my little red wagon. I could see that there was animosity there, personal animosity. And they went till 12:30 that day, so for 2.5 hours that day, and then for 5 hours the next 2 days. And so I've been granted leave to appeal her. Of course, she found me to be a vexatious litigant, so she took away all my basic rights that you would have as a human being in Canada to defend yourself in litigation and to protect yourself. The evil nun, 82 years old, never lived with Paul, did not understand his speech, just a vicious, horrible person. But it was really the government and the judicial system they were going to fix my little red wagon. They were going to teach me a thing or two. So I have to file my written argument in the appeal at the British Columbia Court of Appeal by April 11th. And so I've spent the last 4 weeks just getting up every morning, dragging myself to my desk and writing as long as I can, trying to defend myself, because it won't be just me. I'm not going to live forever. This will set a precedent so that any other family member that tries to visit with their loved one against the wishes of the evil government, this evil NDP government with David Eby as the illegitimate premier, self-appointed illegitimate premier. He cooked those books. He cooked those. We had the election on October 19th of 2024, and all the votes were counted digitally. So there's no way to scrutinize who got what votes. And by a razor's edge, he won, in quotation marks. And he's the same creep that terminated my visits with my little brother and Nikki Sharma. So I spent all morning, just trying to write this written argument to file at the Court of Appeal. And it's so hard because it's regurgitating all those terrible, sad facts about Paul being locked away and me begging for the right to visit him and for him to visit me, and then watching him die. They killed him right in front of me. He had an oxygen mask when I first saw him, but after the nun found out that I knew she was being investigated by the Burnaby RCMP, she ordered that his oxygen mask be removed and that he be sedated to death. So I watched the flicker of life be dragged out of him. As far as I know, the College of Physicians and Surgeons of British Columbia is still investigating his death, and the Burnaby RCMP are waiting to hear what the College of Physicians and Surgeons have to say. That he was murdered right in front of me. You can imagine, my last relative from a big family of 9 kids, the last relative left, he was my little brother. And I watched him be killed right in front of my eyes. I still haven't cried. I just can't cry.